What's the post office now? It used to be a sweet shop. You know, so all the children would be running there for the sweets. And obviously during the war the sweets were on ration, so once he got sweets in, we got to know about it, we were all queuing up to get them.
Then there was Jackie Foster's. People used to take the pigs there to get killed that kept pigs in the village. Yeah. And he had a butcher's shop and a greengrocer's.
And then Mrs. Harvey had a shop down the back of Richardson's Row. Bella Mounter had a shop over the terrace. And Mrs. Downing had a shop along here. They used to bake tea cakes and bread and stuff along here. And now there's none.
Why do you think the shops disappeared then?
Supermarkets.
And transport, cars.
People got the cars and they went down to Crook, and the goods started being cheaper in the town, so people obviously went out to get them once they had transport to go. I think that was the main thing.
Mm. When did the last shop close down, Sunniside then?
It would only be 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
How do you manage without shops then?
Go to Iceland every Monday and get everything delivered by the nice man in the van.
Do you?
Between 3 and 6.
Do you have transport yourself?
No.
So it's a bus ride, is it?
Yeah.
How much?
£3.10 return.
To Crook?
No, Bishop.
Alright. How much is it?
It's actually, it's not much dearer to go to Bishop as opposed to going to Crook.
Right.
It's not a great hardship being a single mother, I don't think.
No. Even though you live in an isolated town like this?
Oh, it would be easier if I lived in somewhere that had better bus services and like facilities and stuff. But I just think your life's what you make it, isn't it? And if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't, basically.
What were the 3 pubs like when you first moved here?
Oh, good, they used to be packed. They packed. We used to go in the top, we used to go in the middle, but it was called it was called the Sun Inn then, and this was the Crown, and the bottom house was the Wellington Arms.
They all got decent few in, but you couldn't get them in regular because they hadn't the money. But on such as weekends and that, they would get a drink or two, not a lot of rowdiness or anything.
You know, you've heard them say about the spittoons. They used to have them all over the floor and that, and a great big fire on, you know, and no, just bare floor.
Was it?
Why, the top house pub, old Mr. Henderson was in, he never let a woman in. Same as that pub down Billy Rowe, Nicky's, when he was alive, he never let women in. He says, he used to say, I's not going to sell women's drinks, they're not but a nuisance. He used to say, old Nicky.
What games were popular for men then years ago?
Well, kites was a good one. Kites and handball. You'll see that big
Alright.
in the back of the public house there?
Yeah.
That was the handball.
So do you remember that being used then for
yes,
that?
Yes.
How did they do it?
They had a line drawn. I don't know how much it was above the ground, about 3 foot or 3'6". You had the hand double like that.
Yeah.
And one man would set the way, and then the other would join in hit, and then go back to the first one.
Yeah.
Bill Proud told me about the ball alley. I thought it was called the ball alley.
Right.
He said you couldn't get in there for people, the crowds that used to come, and there were 2 blokes would knock the ball off the wall for a long time before anybody missed the ball, and they used to hit it with the fist like that. They didn't use a bat, just the fist, and they were like lightning. He said you've never seen blokes as fit as those that come from far and wide to compete in that ball alley.
So tell us about the Institute, what it ran and what was going on there.
They had a billiard table in, and a big reading room and that. And they didn't have the table tennis, anything like that. But they had the checkers and dominoes. Them were the games that they...
Was there a library?
They had all types of books that you could go and read. Newspapers, you'd get every daily newspaper in and that. You could read in there.
There was a social centre on the wreck. It was like a big green wooden hut, and they used to hold socials and dances and concerts, and we had some good singers in the village then. Teddy Hurd and his father, Mary McGee, Edward Spence used to sing and yodel, Byers Wilkinson used to play Hawaiian guitar, and people went and had a good night, enjoyed themselves.
And then all the lads used to always be playing football. That was recreational.
Of course.
Everybody used to be on that wreck. There wasn't any grass on that wreck once over.
Well used, eh?
And kicked off. It was all kicked off.
There used to be what they call a teapot lid then. And there was the big swing. It was like a big pole up the middle and a big thing right round. And you used to go in and out, around and round. Then there was a great big penny of the mat, high. Them's the same swings that I used to come down from Towler and play on.
So we used to go for picnics. We used to go over to Harpley, to the River Weir, and take our bathing costumes and our picnics and have a day there. We used to go to the Stepwood, collect the bluebells, you know, and the wildflowers, cowslips.
Every summer we had a carnival. The men used to play kites, you know, throwing the kites and that. It used to be great, but these latter years there's nothing for nobody. And then you used to have a little roundabout for the bands, you know, and used to be a sixpence to go on. You used to have a lad down the street used to ride his horse and cart, give them rides on the horse and cart.
All on the field here?
On the yes, it used to be great, but there's nobody got any interest now.
Why do you think it changed then?
The people, just the people, because they've got no interest now.
Well, it's still a good village to live in. There's very little like vandalism or anything like that. And as far as I know, there's no drugs. People are still as friendly as they were in days gone by. You know, everybody will speak to you. And if you're a stranger, there's always somebody who'll ask you who you are or what you're doing, you know.
I know that.
Yeah.